Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knoxville Business Growth Collaborative. We are live in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're so excited that you're here online with us. We're going to be making a presentation here, and we have a room here with some live participants in person. So let's jump right in. We have brought you two kinds of advice for planning your 2025 goals. First of all, we're going to hear from New York Life Representative Kelly and her securities expert, Lincoln. And then we're going to dive right into an hour presentation from me, and it's going to be all about those goals, the big goals, the little goals, how you're going to fit it all into 1 year, and you're going to be more successful than ever before in 2025. So let's get started hearing from Lincoln and Kelly with New York Life. There we go. Whoop. Oh yeah, yep, good job.
Hello everyone, I am Kelly with New York Life, and you have our introduction for this weekend. I work primarily with individuals and small businesses with benefits and protection of assets, but I asked the registered investment advisor of the office to come with me today because he has some amazing ideas and information about the more important things to do with your business, such as retirement. So this is Lincoln Sills, registered investment advisor with New York Life.
Thank you, Kelly. And Rita, thank you for having me, being a guest here. Appreciate it. Nice to meet all you guys, gals. So one thing that we want to talk about today is the self-employed business owner. They're sort of underserved when it comes to investment, right? And you have a job, W-2, right? You've got different types of investment plans. So how does someone that runs their own business prepare for retirement? So we're going to run through it's actually a lengthy slideshow from our advanced planning group, but I have concatenated it down, so I'll kind of get through it in about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I think it's going to be really more for kind of get you some thinking about some ideas and then ask questions later on. So. Kelly's going to be kind of the point of contact, right? I am an investment advisor in the office. There's a few of us there, right? But this is sort of her thing. So I'm kind of a guest here, but we definitely want to reach back out to Kelly if you have any questions. And what good presentation wouldn't be without a nice long disclaimer, right? We don't provide any tax advice, right? You got to meet with your CPA. If you have your own investment advisor, you want to meet with them. We work very well with others. So we play well with others. So if you have an investment advisor and they want to incorporate a plan you already have, and maybe something we've talked about, definitely reach out to Kelly. And so I want to start talking about the new retirement reality, right? So retirement is not what it used to be. Right? Statistically, the time horizon for an individual's retirement years has grown while the sources of more stable retirement income have changed quite a bit. For one, you can think of inflation, right? That's something we're all dealing with. Anyone old enough in the 70s remembers it very well, right? But it's certainly coming back, and we're dealing with it now. And how do you plan for retirement and that? And also interest rates. That's also another thing that we've been on a trajectory of 40 years of falling interest rates. We've got used to interest rates going down. And I always like to challenge my clients and say, is your house appreciating, or is it just reflecting the interest rates that are rising now, and the inflation is against what it really is worth, versus is it just reflecting more dollars chasing the same amount of goods? In the past, many people have worked for the same company throughout their career, retired around age 65 with a pension, Social Security, and a nest egg in their home equity. And today, many people are living longer, retiring earlier, and with longer life expectations. If an individual male retires around age 65, and for females, males have around 17 years after retirement, and for females around 20 years. So women live longer than us guys, don't they? That's just how it is. So let's add to that early retirements that also active lifestyles of today's typical retirees, and their need to increasingly rely on personal savings and assets in order to maintain their extended retirement lifestyles, and the need for additional planning becomes more obvious. The issue is further compounded for business owners who are responsible for funding, again, 100% of their retirement, right? You don't have that employer plan that with the match that helps you. So the questions really we want to ask are you going to retire or keep working? So I have some clients that are self-employed. They just said, I'm going to work until I can't take a breath anymore. So that's one thing, you love what you do, but you may not always want to work. Will you sell the business if you're going to retire, right? Do you sell the business, and to whom? And will you have a buyer at the price when you do want to sell it? And what will you take a less active role perhaps when you do sell it, and maybe a salary? So some ways to supplement your retirement lifestyle with your business. So what happens to many business owners when they reach the age of 65? Interestingly enough, many business owners get to the point close to their ideal retirement age when they realize that the most significant part of their wealth is concentrated in their baby, right? Their company. And that typically leaves them with fewer options at that time. They have often not set aside or earmarked enough savings specifically for funding their retirement lifestyle needs. And without a retirement plan or strategies, these business owners may forego income tax advantaged opportunities. There's generally little to no income tax diversification for retirement income, and business owners in a scenario may have all his or her wealth in an asset that is subject to the risk of business creditors all day, every day, right? So you're concentrated in your business is what we're saying there. So why do they remain concentrated with their assets? Why do business owners not diversify more? And there's actually a couple of reasons why. The first, right, and perhaps the most common reason that I definitely hear from business owners is they do not diversify because they expect to sell their business for cash and retire on the proceeds of that sale. Placing business owners in three categories. One group will typically end up selling their business. Another will transfer the business to the children or their key employees. And a third group will just simply shut the business down. This is what some of us call in the financial world the high wire act, right? That's placing all your retirement dreams on the future sale of the business. And that's like walking a tightrope. You might make it, you might fall. What would cause the business owner to fail? The business could go under for a number of reasons, right? And I'm sure all us business owners, even us investment advisors ourselves, right? We're business owners for our own practice, right? We all understand the risks are there. The owner doesn't find perhaps a buyer at the time of retirement. Imagine trying to retire during COVID, right? That would have changed your entire outlook. And then the owner finds a buyer but cannot get the value for which he or she had hoped. So then there's inflation again, right? It's now you need more than you originally thought you were going to need. The business owner definitely needs a safety net. So another common business owner may take out too much of the business for savings, right? So they've extracted too much cash perhaps from the business. And they say the business needs the money. The group puts off beginning to accumulate because there's always a higher priority of cash needed in that business. Right? Business owners usually need that cash to operate just like corporations. Bank that we're in here, right, needs capital to continue to operate. However, upon closer examination, you may find that many business owners are leaving that cash on the books. So they may say that they need X amount of dollars, right? We may feel like we need that, but we may actually be just leaving it on the books, and that's more of a psychological need, that it feels good, right? We love to pull out our phone, look at our app and say, oh, look at the dollars that I have right there in my TVA credit union checking account, right? And so that actually brings up some risks, and that there's a better sense of control that they feel like they have over that risk if those monies are put back into the business. There are actually two pitfalls embedded in this idea. First, diversification is very often a wise course of action. Few business owners successfully invest in their own business, but when they do consider the alternatives, they often conclude that the alternatives create the same or perhaps an even greater level of risk than found in actually investing within their business. So the difference with most alternatives, however, is they are passive and they do not require the same level of control business owners enjoy by running their own business, right? I don't want to put money into another company because I know how to put it in mine and I know who's operating it and I understand my cash flow. So there's a sort of a disconnect there and a fear, right? And second, many continue to reinvest in the business out of habit. and not necessarily business. Business startups, rapidly growing businesses require cash and significant reinvestment. Lack of cash is the most significant reason businesses do not grow or maintain growth during this phase. But at some point, most business owners reach the point where they want to enjoy of what they've created. And that typically means changing their focus slightly by taking more cash out of the business instead of reinvesting it all. Some business owners who claim qualified retirement plans just don't work for me. And the reasons that they give are they maybe don't make enough profit to save for retirement, or they have used previous retirement savings to create that business. They plan to sell the business to fund their retirement. So we go back to that answer again, right? I can sell my business in the future. I don't need to save for retirement. Now, I've never actually met anyone that has said that to me, but perhaps some people have, I don't know. And then I don't have plans to retire, right? Some people are just career people and they feel very compelled to never leave the business they've created, and that makes sense. But does it make financial sense, right? That's really the question we want to kind of ask today. So the upshot for many business owners not saving for retirement, not even through traditional retirement vehicles such as 401ks and IRAs. Some qualified plans can be complex to maintain and require additional costs to administer. Business owners who do have retired qualified plans typically have one of the following, right? So we've heard of some of these: 401k. There's also one called a solo 401k, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, so that's tax-free, simple IRA and SEP IRA. Those are really good for sole proprietors or small businesses. Usually less than 100 employees is what you would looking at. And then the other type of investment, right, is just sort of a retail brokerage account. So that can be not anything that's tax advantaged. So it's a tax me now type of investment, but it gives you access to invest in other companies and other stocks and things of that nature. Most of these plans can be fairly simple to establish and operate, but highly compensated business owners are often limited in how much they can save in these plans, especially speaking of Roths, right? We all know there's an income restriction to invest into a Roth. And so if you make too much, right, and that changes every year, the IRS deems you not valuable or make too valuable, to invest into a Roth IRA. They want their tax dollars is really what that comes down to. When a defined benefit plan may allow them to put aside more for themselves, it also costs substantially more to cover their employees, to the point where the business owner decides that this is simply too costly without enough personal benefit. So what kind of that talking about there is maybe if you had a business and you had 15 or 20 employees, or even 3 or 4 employees, and you find that you're contributing so much more to the employees than what you're getting, right? There's a lot of restrictions on how much you can contribute. We're talking about you as the employer and the match that you're giving to the other employees. And so sometimes those type of plans are really constrictive on you're giving the other employees more than you're actually receiving in a percentage basis, right? So as an owner, you think, well, this is really not compensating me enough, and more of my employees who don't have blood, sweat, and tear into building this business are actually reaping most of that benefit. Some owners do invest in qualified plans, and when we talk about qualified plans, they're talking about the tax qualification, right? So when you hear the word qualified plan or fund, what that means is like an IRA, whether that's Roth or traditional 401k or SEP or any of those that I mentioned earlier. Qualified is just speaking on the fact that those funds qualify for tax diversification, right? So they're either tax me now or tax me never, right? Of course, in the IRA. However, many of those business owners do not invest in qualified plans for themselves, as we kind of talked about. They invest in their own employees. Lower paid employees may have a significant portion of their current income replaced by qualified plan assets in retirement. Unfortunately, due to contribution limits, successful business owners necessarily have to find additional avenues to fund retirement cash flow for themselves. And sometimes that's just saying not doing any of it, or just keep it in the bank. Yes? So this is a long one, I know. What I guess I want to get to, I'm going to look at this chart real quick here, and we're going to talk about, we're talking about, this is as a business owner, right? We're very familiar with surplus and deficits, right? So when we're looking at preparing for higher taxes in the future, why would we be prepared for that? Well, this is our national debt, this red line, right? It's actually 3 trillion higher, so it's off the chart here. But this is just a quick chart to show you that at some point, you really are going to have to consider higher taxes in the future, right? And there's the reason why. And so kind of in closing, what we're going to talk about and in more in person is the cycle of income taxation is sort of peeling off some of the money that you currently have, moving it into a retirement account that's tax-free, right? We're trying to establish the fact that you need tax-free in the future because taxes are going up because of debt. And so how do we set up an account that maybe is tax-free in the future and doesn't prevent us from being a part of the same benefits that you have as a W-2 employee? So in the 3 T's, right, I'll end on this, right? So today, taxes tomorrow, right? And that's very important, kind of cute, kind of catchy. But what we're just saying is we plan today for, with today's money, we're going to use today's or tomorrow's principles that are going to be involving higher tax rates, and how do we prepare for that as business owners? So,
Okay, so we have time now for questions. Certainly, you said a lot, and you may have been thinking, gee, I wasn't even thinking about this yet. So if you have any questions, we have time for questions about your taxes or what you can do this year still, something they can do this year still that'll help them next year, maybe?
You can, right? So if you said, hey, I got some money that I would like to open an IRA, but I know it's almost Christmas season, you actually have until the 14th of April to contribute for the previous years, right? And all you're doing is simply taking money and lowering what your yearly income is. Primarily as a business owner, I'm not sure if you guys are individuals or how you have your business structured, probably a lot of LLCs, but a SEP, a Simplified Employment Pension Plan, just like a big IRA. You're like your own 401k. So just dilute all the lingo down. It's like you have your own 401k. You can contribute 25% of your compensation. You're just lowering your tax dollars, right? You made $100,000 compensation. You got to pay taxes on that. If you can move 25,000 out, now you're paying taxes on 75. You have your own investment account.
We can do that this year, this month.
Up till April.
Oh, up until April. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to talk to someone like you.
Yes, I can set those up, but we'd also want to incorporate sort of, we also want to talk to an accountant when you talk about that, because you have to know the compensation amount to then determine the amount you can contribute. As far as setting up that account, yeah. Because New York Life, a lot of us know us for life insurance, right? They know, oh, you've been in business 178 years. We know that, the largest mutual insurance company in the world. What they don't realize is we're also an investment advisor that has about 900 billion in assets that we manage, right? So even these big banks, we could buy multiples of. We just don't spend a lot of money paying movie stars to advertise for us, right? Because that just takes money from our clients, right? So we're more capital efficient than that. We're more intelligent than that. So we are full investment advisor. Anything that Fidelity can do, I do a lot with Fidelity, BlackRock, any of those that those guys can do, Merrill Lynch, we can do.
Okay, and speaking of your company, who is one of your early customers?
This would be General Custer, yes. He was a life insurance, yeah.
Custer had a life insurance policy with his company. And what, 2 months before?
2 years,
2 years.
prior to the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Started to dying.
Yeah, I was in the military, so.
So he actually, his death benefit would be worth $500,000 today. And it was past his wife, Libby.
Yeah. All right, any more questions about your tax advantages or what you can do next year?
And if you don't have direct questions, it's I know I water hosed everybody, but the idea is reach out to Kelly and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing something next year. How do I plan? It doesn't show up today and where's your money right now, right? How can we start planning for the next year, 25, 26, right?
And we do a lot of like holistic planning. We don't just come to us and we're gonna like, hey, here's what you do. We're gonna say, okay, well, what are your goals? What do you want your business to do? And then we take a look at where you are currently and help you get there, even if it's outside of the scope of New York Life. And that's what I love about what it is that we do is we're transparent and we help clients get to where they need to be regardless.
And full employee benefits, last thing I'll say,
Yeah,
too.
we do.
So if you have been in business for 2 years, and you have 2 employees, you can give them the same level of benefits that they would get if they worked for Merrill Lynch. So the same 401k, which would actually be a SEP, but the same life insurance, the same short-term and long-term disability.
That's the best thing you said.
I had to make it applicable to you, but yes, so as a small business owner, you can do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of small business owners, when we start to hire people, we think, what kind of benefits can we give? I mean, that's a huge chunk, and just to know that that's something we can offer, that's gonna attract really high quality people.
We can really also do it at no cost to the employer, and towards the.
You make it voluntary. So you say, hey, I have a business, can't take on any more.
There's no matching.
Like the benefit, we're talking about benefits side, like insurance.
You have employees that wouldn't qualify on their own, but because of your name of your business, I get to come in under you. I don't charge you any money, but my benefits are based because of you. So now I am sort of beholden to you for my benefits.
That's
Yeah.
it's incentive for them to stay longer.
It is. It's hard to retain good and quality employees.
It is hard. Well, that whole training on retaining good employees.
Something you could teach us a lot about, I think, right?
Thank you so much for being here. Anything else you want to add? Another couple minutes or any more questions?
Any questions? So if kind of what we were talking about here, I know it's really involved. Like I said, it came from the advanced planning group, and I got very short notice, right? So I was just cramming for this. Was essentially we're using life insurance because of the tax code, right? And we're leveraging the tax code. Whole life, permanent life insurance is not taxable, the gains on that policy, if you structure it right. Not because New York Life is special, because that's the IRS puts that in our tax code, because they want to incentivize us individuals to have permanent life insurance so we're not a burden when we pass away. So we're simply taking the laws in the IRS code that's out there and we're leveraging it to use it as a investment, right? And so you can create this account. You don't pay taxes. It's not correlated. That New York Life's been putting dividends in for 67 consecutive years, right? 167 years. And you can use that as a retirement account. And that's kind of where this was all going. And that's probably something that you haven't thought about because you're used to like, oh, I got to put the money in an ETF because that's what everybody and their mother does, right? And eventually that trade's going to get overbought so much. And as those start to unwind, you may say, man, I wish I had a guaranteed bucket that was growing year over year that wasn't correlated to the market.
So what I'm hearing is that there are ways that even we as a small business owner can diversify our own retirement. It's not just one.
It's not just ETF in the same 7 stocks that everyone and their dog is in. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, good. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. I'm gonna give you this HDMI cable.
All right, so we're going to take a very quick break and have some water here in a minute, and we'll be back in a couple minutes and switch the slide over to this computer. And we are going to plan out your 2025 year from major success. We'll be right back. Okay.
There is no limit, but I can't find $12. Right, so people a lot of times will get taken back by the suit or the name or all that, but it's just to say, no matter what your assets are, you get the same quality as somebody that maybe has millions of dollars. That's why we're doing New York Life in business. Okay? They're very client centered. And there's no seed oils.
No.
There's no seed oils. Well, and holistic is a huge movement now. I mean, there's so many people that are providing holistic care and people that are seeking holistic care for their body. Mostly I hear it, but I love to hear that in financial advising and investments.
I've had people come to me and say, if you take a look at the term policy,
Okay, there we go. I apologize for that. Apparently the mic was muted and I don't know for how long. So we are done. We're done with the presentation. And thank you all for being here today. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, Roberta, thank you. The sound just came on. I'm sorry about that. I am going to do this presentation again because it is so important. We won't have an audience, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put it up here on YouTube because this is gold. Hopefully you got something from the slides and from the captions, and I'm still going to do it again and put it up here on my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me know that you couldn't hear anything. So we will see you again soon, and take care, everybody. Hope you got some great value out of this Knoxville Business Growth Collaborative today.